Hello, thanks for joining us on Journalist Hangout. I am Veronica Danik-Boy. Today on the Hangout, anti-graft agencies raid former Vice President Sambo Dasuki's home. Billionaire kidnapper Evans sues police for illegal detention, and later on the program, Badu strikes again, kills couple and 2 kids. I will be hanging out with Mayor Akinpelu Martins Oloja and Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Welcome to Journalist Hangout, gentlemen. Journalist Hangout starts now. One of the earliest stunts of President Muhammadu Buhari's anti-corruption campaign was the investigation of Nigeria's arms deal under former President Goodluck Jonathan. Several arrests have been made, and the former National Security Advisor is still firmly held in President Buhari's anti-corruption corps. In February 2016, reports indicated that the former Vice President, Namali Sambo, might be caught in the web of the scandal, but it didn't take long before security operatives gunned for him. But after months of trembling quiet, security agencies broke through the ice again on Wednesday and raided his house. Nobody knew exactly what they found beyond the stack of documents that were carted away. Sadly, the raid on Wednesday was one out of some others that the security agencies had carried out but found nothing. What really is going on, Martins?
Well, what is going on is what you have just read. But actually, you know, this is it's like a ritual of some sort now, raiding. But, you know, we also discussed this. I know the Journalists Hangout is a regular subject. Raiding. And there is nothing extraordinary about raiding a former vice president's house. There's nothing extraordinary about investigating a former president. And I think we should get that one. Okay. Right? There is nothing. Even the U.S. vice president is being investigated. They are talking about whether he even at a time, whether he's obstructing justice at the moment. And of course, whether there was anything that was done by the Republican Party to have recourse to Russia during the last election, among other things. There is nothing extraordinary. But what is extraordinary is the result. He just said in the synopsis that documents. We feel that maybe someday they will tell us the substance of what they have got, because it's been said that in the last 3 months, his house and office complex have been raided 5 times. They have been cutting away documents. They've been looking for the caught. We know that, you know, the vice president, the chairman of the National Executive Economic Council, he is also, any vice president is the chairman of the National Council on Privatization. Mm-hmm. He also supervises a number of extra-ministerial departments and agencies of government that have to do with parastatals and some other economic agencies. So a lot of things that he may have supervised in...
He's not been, this raid has not been tied to anything.
No, it's not tied to anything, but they said that they are investigating whether he corruptly enriched himself or whether he got involved in certain things like that, that he was suspected to have disbursed some campaign funds. Now, that was before the elections in 2015. Yes, 2015
but then a raid took place at his house sometime in 2016. And about
February 2nd, 2016.
Yes, February 2016, Mayor, and about $50,000 was found or taken away from his safe in the house. But then this, his office. Now, this has not been tied to anything. What are we speculating here? And there is nothing, no statement has been made by either the EFCC on this.
That's my problem with EFCC. I've always argued that EFCC, yes, I know the amount of what is confronting them, but I don't like the way they go about their business. It's either they don't have competent or they don't do their investigation properly, because they will reach a conclusion and start looking for evidence to justify that. That is not how to investigate people. It is unfair. Yes, I'm not supporting Sambo. I'm not saying the vice president may not have colluded or done things. Former vice president, sorry. But what I'm saying is that if you know, if for you to raid a former vice president's house, you must have enough evidence to go and do that. And when you do that, you should be able to know exactly what you are looking for. Not that you keep going to somebody's house and trying to see, maybe you are going to get lucky one day and get evidence. That is irresponsible. That is irresponsible. If somebody is guilty of anything, or in the course of investigation, you realize that there's a need to go and raid the vice president. Before you can raid somebody's house, you're supposed to have an order to that effect. And you should be sure of what you are looking for, because you must have arrived at a conclusion that there's a need to raid his house or raid his office. Not that you keep going there.
Order this time around.
Sorry?
They came with a court order.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You have a court order to do that. Yeah. So, but for you to approach the court to say there's a need for us to raid a particular place, there's something that you must have some evidence of things you are looking for. Not that you keep doing that and you don't have anything to justify your raids. I don't think that is for fair on the former vice president.
So whistleblowing.
Anyway, Jide, right now, like from what Mayor has said, it said that their style, obviously, if I read between the lines, it has some loopholes in it. Do you share some view? Saying that their method of going about their processes is quite irresponsible.
Yeah, I think I'm more interested in what comes out of these raids than anything else. You see, the EFCC, if we are to judge them by their record, especially against politically exposed persons, the EFCC record is very, very bad. It's not as if we do not like the FCC. It's just that we are addicted to saying the truth. Because for me, I've decided I'll be biased on the side of the truth at all times until God takes my life. If the EFCC continues on this path, they will not achieve anything meaningful. And people think that we hate them because we tell them the truth. Just the same way they think we hate the army when we say the army is not doing certain things the right way. We'll see in the fullness of time that we have merely done the right thing by saying the truth. You see, the EFCC will bring up cases against people. The newspapers will go to town. Front pages, you will splash pictures of people on front pages. People will make so much noise. And then when the case comes, you will see those people walking free. It has happened to so many people. Danjuma Goje, the former governor of Gombe State, is being tried in Jos. Now, the principal witness 12, a former accountant general of the state, that's probably the best witness that they have, went to the court and said Goje was the first to introduce due process in the state, that he was not just a leader who believed in financial prudence, but he was a good man and a good leader. Now, is that the sort of testimony that will put Goje in jail? So we are seeing signs now that Goje will eventually not be convicted. And we've been told that it took about $1 billion. He bought books with about $1 billion for secondary schools, that he did this, he did that. And after a while, from the look of things, if the accountant general and the legal officer in the government house, who the EFCC felt would nail Goje in court, will go to court and be singing praises of Goje rather than provide evidence of looting, then you can safely predict the outcome of that trial. It will end just like the trial of the former Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, just like the Meji Bankole's case, just like Femi Fani-Kayode, and so many other cases, just like Abdulaziz Muritala Yako, and so many other cases that the EFCC has lost in recent times. EFCC has an appalling losing streak when it comes to cases against politically exposed persons. They always get it right with Yahoo boys. They'll put them behind bars. They always secure conviction of those little fries. But when it comes to those big people who can hire good lawyers, the FCC always fails. We do not hate them. But when you look at statistics, there's little or nothing you can say to argue against us, because they fast speak. They fast speak, and if we want to win the war against corruption, if we don't want Nigerians to come to the conclusion that corruption has now become an acceptable way of life, if we don't want Nigerians to give up about this fight, the FCC must do better than simply raiding people's homes. The other day, they went to the home of the former governor of Kano State. What's his name? Kwankwaso. Yes. The home of his younger brother. They turned everything upside down. They were threatening to shoot people the way they threatened to shoot journalists yesterday. Yes. At the end of the day, it's so much fury and amounting to nothingness. Fury amounting to nothingness.
I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you because, sorry. I agree with you because my problem with them is what you just said. They cannot make successes of their cases until they change their style. They are very lazy. They don't do enough investigation. They always start from effect instead of cause. And when you keep doing that, you cannot win. Because you in court of law, it's not that for you to accuse. You must show proof.
Evidence to prove.
Yes.
Cases will not be decided by sentiment.
Yes. Let us put our fingers on certain things concerning this particular case of the vice president. In February, it was EFCC and some other times. Yesterday, it was ICPC, DSS, and police. Coordination. This exactly was what even the Presidential Advisory Committee on this issue, Professor Sage and co, said, and they blamed the Attorney General of the Federation for poor prosecution, for lack of diligent prosecution. That is absence of diligent prosecution in this case. That was how the Saraki case got lost at this, that they didn't prosecute this case well. And I said this here before, that the Attorney General of the Federation is the person to hold responsible for coordination of this. It is his office. And that was why you watched the one, we followed the presidential system in the United States. You saw what happened the other time, FBI former chairman, when they called him. They also called, it was the Attorney General, they asked a lot of questions, even though they said he was stonewalling, but they warned him. So the office of the Attorney General should put this house of commotion in order. Because as the CJN often tells them, even when they call him, when they lost a lot of cases, the Chief Justice of Nigeria told them, look, don't just blame the justice system and be cursing justices that they are corrupt, they are doing it. You come with your pieces of evidence. Come and prosecute people. Do your investigation very well. If you do not investigate very well and produce, as the late James Ocholi said at the hearing, the Senate screening, that the most important aspect in this criminal justice system is investigation and is the most expensive. You should do it well.
What could be the bane of the EFCC carrying out these investigations properly to achieve the desired result, Mayor? Is it that funds? What exactly? Equipment?
I think they are not well equipped for it. I think they don't have enough personnel. In places, in other crimes where they practice the federal system that we are practicing, lawyers dominate investigation there. In EFCC, most of their personnel are policemen. And they don't, because they don't even have the technical skill to be able to identify evidence that they can use against people
something that
are
could be called
investigating.
as evidence.
Yes, because most of the personnel that they use are policemen. Whereas they are supposed to have more of lawyers and professionals, people, criminologists, and those who are trained to do those things. So one, they don't have enough personnel to be able to go around the kind of all the cases that they're doing. And when you do high-profile cases, you have to do your homework well. because politically exposed people have enough resources and clout to get good lawyers. So if you want to now confront them, you must have your facts. You cannot just bring a policeman that would think by the time you do a raid and turn a house upside down and then you harass people with guns, that's how you're going to get conviction. That is why every time we've always been saying it, what you see is just media trial. The successes that they've had, yes, the successes they've had is usually pre-bargain, or those who are in these lesser crimes, who it's very easy to put them there. But high-profile people, the only time they'll be able to get things from them is when they do play bargain.
Now, Jide, with the fact that we are not certain where this case or this raid has been tied to, if it is still the case of the Dasuki Gate that this raid is still about, and now nothing has been found, does that mean that the issues or the shop for an evidence to nail Sambo Dasuki, or rather Namadi Sambo, is fading away?
No, I won't say it's fading away. I think that even the Dasuki affair, I'm anxious to see what will happen in court, because Nigerians will be shocked. Nigerians will be shocked.
I agree with you.
I make that prediction for free.
Just as they were shocked.
I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. Let the trial start. Let the trial start.
But they want
because we've had all kinds of stories. Oh, that Dasuki named people. He mentioned this. They are all lies. I can tell you, Nigerians can believe stuff. That Dasuki gave a long list of people that he gave money to. Where? Where did he do that?
He wants open
Where?
trial. He wants trial.
Where did he do that? Let the EFCC not busy itself with putting esoteric stuff in newspapers. Let us see EFCC get down to brass tacks and win case, take decisive actions that will enable it to win cases. Raiding people's homes, opening up sewage tanks, getting your hands dirty with human, excrement will not win cases for you. What is? The other day they went to, I think, Nasarawa State, the farm of one retired army officer. I will not mention a military officer, and they were opening sewage tanks and all that. For what now? For what? You see, these guys are not fools. The people who loot from the Nigerian treasury, the people who desire to steal us blind, they already know now how to keep money. You heard what Evans himself said, that only a fool will keep the kind of money I take from the people that I kidnap to the bank. So they are not likely to keep those monies in their homes. They know that you've been successful raiding buildings where monies were kept, especially the huge success in Kaduna with the former GMD of the NNPC. Yeah. So they are not fools.
That's true.
They are not going to keep this money. I know they've been raiding, like the former customs boss. They've raided his homes everywhere. They are not likely to find cash. Nigerians are taking money across the border to go and keep. They are going to Ghana to hide money. If Evans has 2 houses in Ghana, he confessed that he has 2 houses in Ghana and 2 houses in Magodo. What do you expect of people who have held political office in Nigeria, who have stolen so much money? So they will keep money in Dubai. They will keep money elsewhere. They won't just keep money in their little homes here in Nigeria that you know. Island. They will keep monies in places that you do not know. Countries that I had never heard of their names before. Jersey Islands, Liechtenstein. Abacha successfully kept money in those countries.
Yes.
We didn't know. Countries that you've not heard that they existed on the map.
And that's what they do.
Abacha kept money in those places. The new generation Nigerian thieves who worked in government, they are probably even smarter than Abacha, who in my view is the greatest looter to ever rule Nigeria. They are probably even smarter than, because we are still discovering more money. We are still discovering more money looted by Abacha. many years after he died. We are still discovering.
In the US.
We are still discovering more.
Them to bring
so the truth is, these guys, EFCC must get more sophisticated than it is doing now, than it is demonstrating now. What EFCC relies on largely is petitions from you and I.
Yeah.
You are not going to go far with that, because in some cases, these guys write petitions that are frivolous, and then you send the EFCC on a wild goose chase. Sometimes they will be chasing the petitioner. They want the petitioner to come to court to come and testify. And if the looter successfully reaches out to the petitioner takes to his heels. You will not see him in court. Your case is destroyed. This is what is happening. I just don't want to mention some of the cases that have been compromised because petitioners who filed those petitions, at the end of the day, they reached out to them. They made peace with the looter, and the looter, and the petitioner fails to make himself available when the EFCC
he can
makes
also begin to speak in tongues when he gets to talk.
Just the same way it happened with Femi Fani-Kayode's
Yes.
case, because the witness got to court and said, no, everything that I said about Fani-Kayode the first time, I didn't mean it. I was forced to say it. And the case fell flat. Fani-Kayode walked away free. So you must do much more work than you are doing. Not simply, when he was talking about, okay, the need for coordination, I agree that there's a need for coordination, but I think it's a tad too heavy for different security agencies to go and raid just one building. Veronica, one building. You mobilize DSS, you mobilize this, you mobilize for one building. Abba.
That's ridiculous. Well, we have Usman from Lagos on the line. Usman, are you there? Go ahead with your contribution. Usman?
Yes.
Go ahead with your contribution.
All right. I just want to contribute to the discussion that is going on, and I quite appreciate the analysis of the panel. But to me, the kind of pressure that is usually on EFCC when they have cases against all these big wigs is not a small thing. As all these emirs, all these power brokers, they are usually exerting serious pressure on EFCC to mellow down on the cases that they have against all these high-profile corrupt people. So that is what should be worked on in this country. Otherwise, you will just, at the end of the day, I was opportune to witness a case in this country whereby they did their work diligently. But at the end of the day, they watered down the evidence they have.
All right, thank you, Usman, for your contribution. Well, mellow down on cases. Does that mean they shouldn't do what they were established?
They should do their work. That's what they are paid to do.
They put pressure on journalists.
What Usman also does not know is that there is so much corruption in the FCC. We can talk about the corruption in the FCC for an hour, just talking about the manifestations of corruption in the FCC. Because cases are sometimes deliberately bungled. We've talked about the makeup of the EFCC itself, dominated by policemen. When you have DSS operatives, even within the EFCC, they use DSS operatives. They are much more professional than the policemen that they have. Cases are sometimes deliberately bungled. You and I will not know. You just find that, oh, we're investigating this, we reach a dead end. They didn't reach any dead end. They were mobilized to reach a dead end. So this is the truth.
But then what does this portend for the fight against corruption that we are, trying to push forward in this government?
Well, definitely, because of this absence of thorough investigations and evidence to nail people, it will, after all, be, as I said before, like Shakespeare said, a tale told by an idiot, full of sand and fury, signifying nothing.
Mayor, do you have anything to say before we move on?
I would just say that we should not give up on EFCC, because we still need to fight. I believe that corruption is a major problem in Nigeria, and we still need to fight corruption. But we have to reorganize EFCC in a way that will make it more effective. All
right. After the break, billionaire kidnapper Evans sues the police for illegal detention. How interesting. Details soon. The story of the suspected billionaire kidnapper Chidumeme Onwamadike, also known as Evans, is full of interesting chapters. For years, he enjoyed the pleasure of abducting people, detain them illegally for months, and extort mind-blowing sums from their ransom. But since the 36-year-old Lagos big boy was picked up in his Magodo home earlier this month, he has realized how puzzling and inhumane it is to be held against one's will. In what appears to be the tale of the hunted wanting to be the hunter, the legendary suspected kidnapper has sued the Nigeria police for detaining him illegally. He wants the High Court in Lagos to give him an order that will compel the police to charge him to court immediately if there is any case against him. Isn't this the comedy of the highest degree?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
yes, it is. Why? Because one of the beauty of democracy is the issue of fundamental human rights.
Okay.
That is why somebody like Evans can go to court. If you deny people of rights, if you keep people for 6 months, 7 months, put them in inhumane conditions, extort mind-boggling sums from them, deny them of their own rights, and then after you are arrested and you are being kept in one police custody, after you have given even VIP treatment, you have the right to be going to court to say you want to enforce rights. It's just that that is the beauty of democracy. In other situations, somebody like that should not even enjoy that kind of rights because he has denied so many people of such rights. So, as far as I'm concerned, Evans and whoever his lawyer is just, what they are doing is just a joke.
You share some view?
Well, definitely it's a joke, but that is democracy. That is the story of human rights. And he is also telling us something about the way we handle our cases here, that if they have been on his trail for 7 years, as Jide said before we began this, 7 years, they must have built up a case on this same person. And
so why not take him to court?
What are they waiting for? They should take him to court. He had started talking. He had named some soldiers who are serving and are his accomplices. And he has more names to release.
Probably
and then take him to court.
Probably in the police.
Yes. If he has named soldiers.
I will be shocked if he does not have policemen who have assisted him.
Associates.
Yes.
Because we heard that he was actually even arrested for armed robbery at some point.
Yes.
And some people contrived
2006.
to have him released. He was arrested here in Lagos.
And taken to...
And taken because the police command in Imo State claimed that they had a subsisting case against him and asked for him to be released. It was after he was released in Owerri that he melted into the atmosphere and then transformed into a big-time kidnapper and billionaire. He's saying now that he's not a billionaire, that those monies that he took from people, he never spent alone, that he shared with other people. Yeah. But if you have 2 houses in Ghana and you have 2 houses in Magodo here, we don't know the value of the 2 houses that he has in Ghana. So Evans
they'll be very expensive.
Should not be telling us.
Yes, they're supposed to be paid for in dollars.
Of course, their currency is stronger than ours. Evans should not be telling us that he's not a billionaire. Based on the people that he has extorted money from, and we do not even know everyone, a list of people that the police released and the ransoms that he took from those people put him in the category of billionaires, whether he accepts it or not. It's just that the way people say it, that look, when people, God has blessed some people, but they want to hide it.
No, God didn't bless him.
I'm just
because
using
Satan that blessed him. Yes, I know what you're saying.
People, yes,
I know.
Before people will hear that from you and say Jesus is blaspheming. There are people that God will bless in Nigeria, but they will say, no, I don't have money, I don't have this. That's why they sing that song that Mama Boyo Lorun Mora.
What's the meaning of that? I don't understand.
They say, don't cover the good deeds of God. If it has pleased God to bless you, it has pleased Lucifer to bless Unwa Madike alias Evans and catapult him to the rank of billionaires. But he wants us to believe now that he's not a billionaire. His goal is clear. He wants Nigerians to see him as a repented good boy. You know, his dad was begging the other day that, look, forgive my son, send him to Joshua's church so that he will fully repent. That's empty gas.
Very funny.
We will not send him to Joshua's church to go and repent. He must pay for his sins. He is saying that that his father, the originating summons that his father came up with
an affidavit.
Yes.
27 paragraph.
27 point originating summons. The dad was saying, look, the family had been denied access to him. Every time that this character kidnapped people, did he give them access to members of their families? Were they allowed to come and visit him the way you go and visit somebody who is in hospital? Did he allow them to visit them? So now, in this case, now he's been detained and he's enjoying the company of policemen who are taking selfies with him and all that. He should accept it like that. He should not, people should not think, well, I'm looking at that father. He should not think that he can hoodwink Nigerians. Before we know it now, some people will start one online campaign. Oh, Free Evans.
At some point,
there was an idiotic suggestion that they could actually get him to help the Nigerian security forces and let him work for government rather than send him to jail. What do we need this guy for? There's nothing extraordinary. It's just a man who has exploited opportunities around him. How is it useful?
It's not useful. Even there is something there that we should not forget about this. Even the policemen that organized this raid have become celebrities. I have never seen
they are appearing in pictures. I don't know where
operatives. You now know the name of
let me defend that. Let me defend that.
How?
Let me defend that.
That's devil's advocate.
No. Let me defend that. It is a normal procedure in SARS that when they capture a big criminal, they take pictures and put it in their albums. Sometimes they frame it and put it in their office. The reason for that is, one, to encourage junior officers to be able to aspire to be able to achieve such things, and then to have the record.
That's what you are saying is
no. That is no. But that's the truth. The problem was that
why did the Ghanaian police boss? Why did they complain about?
It's not supposed to be. That picture was not supposed to be in public domain.
Was it only one picture?
But I think the mistake.
Are we talking about only one picture?
No, the selfies. No, the mistake.
Is it only one picture we are talking about?
The mistake they made was that in the furious
and the tricks.
And they have started trying
how they post as a refuse collectors and all that.
Yes.
No, it was not
tricks.
You
shouldn't expose your tricks
about the police force
and the system.
The system that will allow them to be revealing how they did it.
It is like somebody talking about his trade secret.
Yes.
They are talking about your trade secret. I mean, it's irresponsible.
I agree with that.
That's why the Ghanaian police boss can call the Nigerian police to order that, look, what you are doing is not right.
It's not right.
This guy has accomplices everywhere. You've not arrested many of them, and you are busy saying all this.
How you arrested him?
Let me tell you, if they wanted to behave sensibly, even when they arrested the soldier, they shouldn't have made it public.
Yes.
Because this guy has other people that are working for him.
The
moment they see that soldier arrested, they will take to their heels.
I agree with
definitely.
And some of them will go across the border, and you will never catch them.
Why?
Not only that, we are seeing cases now. We've seen cases of even criminals go after families of policemen and murder them. We've seen policemen murdered in cold blood. Once some of them who are on the loose identify this guy as the one who arrested their benefactor with big pocket.
Yes.
They go after such policemen. So
that's
the thing is, doing selfies with this guy it makes absolutely no sense.
That's not supposed to be in the public domain.
No. When they got
someone else is not that.
When they got hold of Vampire, did they do selfie? Is it because this one is a billionaire?
No. They did the picture. The picture was in their album. It's just because of the euphoria of the moment.
Don't justify this. They've done so many interviews.
We need to move on from this point.
And then he was interviewed in this country. And then he was arrested in this country.
We need to move on from this
Did we see this kind of behavior from the policemen? No. Can you even remember the name of the man who led the operation?
No.
To arrest Aneni?
No.
Now,
this guy's notoriety was not greater than that of Aneni.
Yes, I agree. I agree on that.
So is it everybody just wants publicity now?
This is exactly what we talk about media trial. investigation is not this way.
There is hardly any day that you do not see a story about Evans.
Joseph, are you there?
Every day you are seeing stories about Evans in this paper, saying this, saying that, saying this, saying that. We have not started a trial. We are going to this
extent. But you know that a lot of those stories may not be correct.
They need more grounds
to cover within journalists are being given access to
the country.
Too much access.
The police are saying that why they are not taking him to court is with the fact that they need to cover more grounds within and outside the country.
Okay. Yes, I agree with that, and I think that is justified. I think so. Because you see, when you arrest somebody, an high-profile person like Evans, there's need for you to be able to unravel why he became that successful. You have accomplices everywhere, but I agree.
I
agree. But the police, what the police are saying now is that they need 3 more months. They'll be able to get another. That
but the longer he stays, isn't that dangerous?
Yeah, they took another to keep him for 3 months.
3 months. So within that 3 months, they would have concluded investigation. Then they take him to court. The only thing I will advise police, is that they should please, when they want to try Evans, they should hand over that file to the DPP's office. Let competent lawyers do the prosecution. 2, they should not only rely on the Lagos State's law on kidnapping, because I think the law was signed in January. You understand? And technically, they might use that because some of his exploits have happened before January. So while they are using the Lagos State law on kidnapping to try him, they should also take him to high court on other cases that has been involved in other places.
They can actually open up cases
in other places, in other states. They should do that so that they won't just do like they used to do, and then the police people will now take him, and then they will now say that this thing happened before the law was signed.
Even that would not be enough to save Evans, except people contrived on their own to help this guy. Evans' gang was said to have killed a policeman who was providing protection for the
chairman of
Young Shagro. That is murder.
Yes, but that happened towards the end of last year.
But he claimed
no. That happened. No. It wasn't last year. It wasn't last year. That's about 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. That is before the law.
But murder is murder. If you kill,
which is true. If
you kill, by our laws,
I agree with you. That's why I said. That's why they said they should not rely only on the Lagos kidnapping law.
Not only on Lagos, but Lagos.
Yes, that one is very effective. No, that's very effective. But they should also use another. They should also use the High Court.
Yeah, they can take him to other places where he's committed. Because we've read stories of people being murdered and all that. You know about
this is why I was murdered by them.
The longer they keep this guy, let me just say my own.
That was what I was asking.
On this matter. The longer they keep him there, for media people to be going to him and doing interviews and all that,
that's wrong.
The more we are endangering this case.
I agree.
You see, we talk as Nigerians and as historians. Before we know it, this guy, the police, because it's not a fool, and in our country we have a history of eminently rich people like this not going to jail.
Yes.
So he will go to great lengths, and we don't know the people outside who work for him.
Yeah, we don't.
Look, for some of those people, Evans is better killed, though.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
For some of those people, Evans is better killed than to wait until he begins to say, oh, this senior person, the police helped me, this senior person, the army helped me, this so-so person helped me. So his case, they should not delay his case, they should let his trial start.
Immediately.
You can amend the charge as the trial goes on. You don't have to wait forever.
My take is that the system should not be advertising themselves because it is not over. They have not taken him to court. They have not started trial, and they should not be celebrating themselves. They should not be celebrating the case. They should be doing their own investigation, and it should be a covert operation until the job is done.
All right, we have a caller on the line. Chukwuemeka from Nasarawa, are you there? Go ahead with your contribution.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. In fact, I'm enjoying the program. But the problem with this police is there are issues that they're not supposed to go to media for that. This man is supposed to treat him quietly. The way they are following us.
Unfortunately, Chukwuemeka, the lines are muddled up. We can't really hear you clearly. So if you can call back again. So Mayor, quickly, your final take on this topic before we move on.
Okay, yeah, my final take is that I agree that the police should be more professional. I agree that members of the IG intervention force have done very well. But they should now detach themselves from celebrating themselves.
Yes.
And I think that the police should do a better work when they want to try this guy. They should not make mistakes like EFCC.
All right, moving on. In the last few months, the stories coming out of the Ikorodu side of Lagos State have been that of horror,
that's my place, so.
tears and blood. A notoriously callous cult group has been on a killing spree. Each time it goes hunting, innocent residents are ruthlessly devoured. On May the 2nd this year, the cult group struck in a Mota community, hacking a couple and their 2 children to death, while 2 other siblings sustained serious injuries. On May the 28th this year, the group wiped out a family of 4, including a pregnant woman. On the 10th of June this year, the group attacked a pastor in his house and fractured his skull with a mortar. The list of terror attacks goes on. Shockingly, each time the people are faced with this horror, the police always blow hot, and it has not changed anything. On Wednesday, the killer group attacked 4 buildings in Odogunyo and gruesomely murdered a couple and their kids. Today, the community is wrapped in fear and people are asking for answers. What are the police not doing right? I'll start with you, Mayor, since this is your community.
Yes, it's very sad what is happening in Ikorodu. Ikorodu used to be a very peaceful place. I live in Ikorodu for 10 years. But the problem that we have in Ikorodu has to do with Ajelogo. There's a place called Ajelogo very close to Ketu. It was a den of criminals in Lagos. During the time of Fashola, the place was cleared because it was like a illegal settlement. And there you can get anything. Most criminals, gangs, people who rent out guns, they used to live there. But the government now cleared them, and most of them moved to Ikorodu and the suburbs of Ikorodu. That is why the crime rate in Ikorodu went up. This Bado thing, I still don't understand it, because I can understand militants who come around to kidnap so that they can collect ransom. I can understand armed robbers who rob people of their belongings because they needed it. I don't understand these Bado people.
Wipe out families.
They call them cultists. They just go in to kill people. What do they want to achieve by doing that? What's the aim or the reason for doing that? It's still a mystery to me.
To everyone.
Yes, and another problem is that the Lagos State government should realize one major problem that is in Ikorodu, because the government is not tackling the problem the right way. Ikorodu is not what it used to be. The population in Ikorodu is more than so many settlements in Lagos. So the police unit in Ikorodu, they can't handle the job. That is the problem. They can't handle the job. That's Ikorodu. What you have in Ikorodu can't handle the job.
Police from
so they can't handle the job. Yeah. So they should realize that, okay, Ikorodu has expanded beyond what it used to be. Yes. And there's a need to security-wise, to tackle it the way it should be. The chairman of the security transport went there and was trying to tell people, oh, give police information and all that. That's not the problem. We should realize that we have a problem in that segment of the state, and we should increase police presence and security in there. That's the problem. The police are overwhelmed. That is why it is easier for this, because there are a lot of gangs and criminals living in Ikorodu now.
Martin's residents are worried, and they don't know what these people really want from them. It's a harrowing experience, Martins. What do you have to say?
Well, definitely. You know, even yesterday, so many women, so many men, so many people marched to the King's Palace.
Yes, the Young Prince's Palace.
Yes. And they were restless, they were angry. It was understood that even His Royal Highness offered them 200,000 naira, which was rejected by the people. They said, no, we are not looking for money. We are looking for protection. We are looking for the assurance that we are safe in this place. Definitely, security and welfare of the people is in our constitution, shall be the primary purpose of government. Government should protect them. It's gone beyond Shagamu, this police from Shagamu division. The Inspector General of Police should take note that even Boko Haram started this way. And this thing can get out of hand. The people there feel unprotected.
Yes.
There is no nightlife in Ikorodu anymore, and they don't know who are they going to call. They always come around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. What are they going to do? So, but we lament, we read from the book of lamentation like that in Nigeria every day. But we should begin to address processes. And one of the processes I would like to mention at this time is that people are calling for restructuring. Restructuring, and one of the institutions they call to restructure is the police.
Yes, state police.
This is the time we need state police.
Correct.
I rest my case there.
Correct.
All right, Jude.
Yeah, I think that the Anyogbure of Ikorodu, of Adewale Shotobi, should see this as his own failure.
Correct.
If you are the traditional ruler in a place, in fact, when we were growing up, we were told that traditional rulers will call herbalists and other people to see, when these kind of things are happening, they will do sacrifice. They will find a way to put an end to it. Yes, this is a modern era, but some of our practices, the practices of old, we still do them. They still do Oro and other places.
Yes.
Why is it difficult for Bashotobi to ask for help? He should see this as a big problem for him, a big personal problem for him, and call for help wherever help is. I was telling someone, I said, when some boys in Akala constituted themselves to a nuisance and they were killing people, it took the OPC to go and deal with those boys. They dealt with them. And peace returned to Akala. In the past, a woman could not walk free on the streets of Akala. Those guys were killing people in broad daylight. I remember all this. But OPC went in and restored sanity in their own crude way. And honestly, if sanity would be restored and the Bado cultists would be dealt with, even if it's in a crude way, that OPC or any group does it, I'll be grateful. So I'm wondering what Gani Adams of the OPC, I'm wondering what he's doing. Or is it that they've not asked for help of OPC? Because we can't leave everything to the police. What are the traditional medicine people, or what do they call the herbalists? What are they doing in Ikorodu? Because Ikorodu looks like the home of all of that in Lagos. So what are they doing? When you talk of Oro and all that, Ikorodu looks like the Lagos capital of Oro. Why can't they use Oro to put these boys
let me tell you what the problem
in
is.
check?
I think the problem has to do with the KBSA. This is a failure on its part. You know, the KBSA is relatively new. And I know that it's not doing the needful. One, they should have approached government to be able to tell them the problem is having its domain so that they can increase.
But the government knows.
No, wait, security there. Secondly, Ikorodu's OPC used to be the most effective in Lagos.
What happened?
When Gani Adams, there was a time when Gani Adams was declared wanted and the police were looking for him. He was living in Ikorodu.
Yeah,
he was hiding in Ikorodu. OPC before. Then, apart from that, there was a security arrangement because this is a place I lived for 10 years. So I know Ikorodu relatively well. There was a time when I was living there, that was like, apart from the OPC that was very effective, there was a synergy between the police and the soldiers, because there is one cantonment on the way to Odogiyon. So, and they used to do patrols and they were very effective. Then I remember that my neighbor, Architect Kara, we used to try to check their response, and we just try to call as if we're in distress, and maximum 7 minutes they will be in your neighborhood. All that have stopped, and unfortunately OPC does not exist in Ikorodu anymore. Gani Adams is very comfortable now. OPC is divided.
I think we should
OPC is divided, then OPC is not as effective as they used to be.
Yes.
So, and meanwhile, at about the same time, the Ojologo problem have moved to Ikorodu, and the number of criminals and gangs have increased.
Ikorodu is actually bigger than Ijebode.
Yes.
It's a sprawling community.
It's a community now.
You know,
and there are so many criminal gangs from Ajelogo there. So, and there's nobody is doing anything about it. It's so sad.
My take on this is that I mentioned state police. You know that Lagos state government cannot deploy police.
Yes,
he doesn't have power to do that.
Yes.
That's all the thought. We have Oluwafemi on the line. Are you there? Go ahead with your contribution.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Please, I want to contribute in this matter because I work in Ikorodu.
Okay.
The only suggestion that I can give the government, maybe they are hearing, is they should use Oyabo. There's some guys they call Oyabo. Because Ikorodu is the place that heavy criminals, they are in Ikorodu very much. Just come to Ikorodu in the night and come and see. The only thing the government police cannot do the job. The only thing that the Lagos State can do now, they should use Oyabo to tackle this matter.
It's like a neighborhood. It's like like a neighborhood watch. Yes.
All right, thank you.
It is still within the context of state police. You know, they have 43.
But you see, the thing is, what you are talking about is futuristic.
Yes, it's
But
futuristic.
this is a problem that we must solve now.
It's solving this problem now.
We need
We can't get
state police immediately.
State security service is there because we must get to the
You mean the
root of
neighborhood
this.
watch? We don't know what they're doing. Have you seen
the
anybody?
DSS should go to that place
And find out what exactly.
They are very good, as Jide said. They are DSS people. Forget about politics now. Very professional. They don't recruit nincompoops. They don't recruit mediocrities.
Then please let them go to.
And they have good training.
Please let them go to Ikorodu and help us.
Let's get to the root of this matter. Who are these people? Who is sponsoring them? What is
The
their
man
objective?
with the white beard.
Yes.
Lawa Daura, the man with the white beard.
Yes.
Is the man that we need to appeal to now. That look, there is a problem.
There's a problem there. It can be a national
where
crisis.
people get killed and entire families get wiped
just
out.
disappear
It is a
like
national disgrace. That national disgrace issue, address it. That's what we should tell the man with the white beard.
Please, we are telling him to do that.
He will.
Because we need yes, because
he's
the problem
listening. I'm
is
sure he's watching.
Yes.
Because we can take care of these Badu people. Because I don't understand why people will enter and kill people without taking
Wipe out
anything.
families, not just one.
understand.
Wipe out
Different
families.
families.
Security,
you know the way the Bible
the
says, David, the son of Jesse,
purpose
when you wipe out an entire family, the
That generation is gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. I should note that.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show. Well, that's all on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. Watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Veronica Dani Boy. Bye for now. God bless Nigeria.